So, myself Rakesh, and I'd like to thank all the panelists here. So, when I saw the topic, role of education, entertainment, media, and education in building a civil society, I was thinking, what is the topic? What exactly it entails? It's very generic, very high level, right? So, I did some research on Google, and to frank with you, okay, let me search this topic on Google. What does it say? And Google was coming with very, very weird results. Okay, just try it out. Type this topic and search. So I said, okay, let me start with the respective fields. Start with media. And so the media, it's one of the things, and it's not my thing I came out. The very interesting question was, hey, media, whenever you see, it symbolizes like a watchdog. It's something, a watchdog is something, it is loyal to its in Hindi it's a Malik, right? So my first question is to you, Mr. Anirban. Where does the media's loyalty lies? Is it the civil society? Or is it the government? Or is it the sponsors?
Hello. Firstly, I would like to tell you that, we are used to sitting on the other side.
Okay.
So when you are placed this side, you are a bit uncomfortable, but I guess I don't have any choice. First question, tough to answer, but my loyalty lies to my profession.
Very true, very true, very true.
And of course, sponsor, because the person who is paying my salary, how can I ignore him?
Okay, very, very honest. Thank you. Not necessarily sometimes, yeah. So that totally makes sense. So thank you. Since you are our sponsors, I won't ask a lot of tough questions. I understand. So media, what's the role of media in next 5 years? How do you see society being changed by your actions day in, day out? What role you're going to play so that we have better civil society?
Firstly, I would like to tell you that on behalf of Zee Media Corporation, we have recently embarked on a very interesting journey. And believe me, we are spending crores on that.
Definitely.
Crores, literally. So we, like senior managers like us, we have fanned out in all the different parts of the country. I'll take 5 minutes.
Definitely, please go ahead.
Or 3 minutes. So I know how it feels after a sumptuous lunch, how it feels to be on the other side. So we have, fanned out in different parts of the country, Nasik, Gwalior, Hisar, Calcutta, Bhubaneswar. And we have started meeting people who are our viewers. So long, we have been entirely dependent on people like, agencies who do surveys, market surveys, research groups and all. But this time, since early this year, we decided to go to the customer. We met laborers, we met housewives, we met students, and we met a lot of people. Do you know, from all across the country, there were three important points which came out. And they were very common. And we call it unity in diversity. We really got a taste of it. The first point that came out from all the interviews we had, आप लोग, you guys have been sold. That's the number one point. Second point, you guys are all partisan. No, this is people are telling us. It's not that, what we think. Third point, which is very interesting, is that you are our only hope. So taking a cue from these lessons, we are really doing a lot of soul searching. We are doing a lot of research and trying to find out what exactly the people want. News channels and media are very editor driven. Anirban Chaudhuri decides every day what is going to go. It doesn't decide on behalf of his wife at home. I'll give an example. Very interesting things which have come out. Maybe you'll also find it interesting. Like the day Dr. Kalam passed away, Every channel, every newspaper, they covered it. And we really know what Barack Obama, US President, what Vladimir Putin, whatever the long list of names. But do you know what people were really interested to know? Whether schools will be open tomorrow or not. So, on behalf of Z Media Corporation, we are now moving from that information to Jankari, which is really giving people the information we want, they want, not what I feel as an editor that they should be given this information. And for us, it's a very revealing experience that most of the informations we are giving, they are really not interested. People have told them just, we are educated, maybe I am unpadhu, but I am educated enough to understand what's happening in Parliament. You don't have to have 8 experts on that screaming, and I can close my eyes, I can tell that this expert is going to say this sentence after this. Because every evening you are, pressurizing her with all kinds of your views. What about our views? So, if we have taken this journey, as I said, a very interesting journey, if we can really at least cross midway, media, as you said, what's going to take shape, it will be really a totally different kind of media. If we, this is the very initial remarks, so this is what I feel that it's going to, media has to be that, otherwise people are going to junk us.
Totally understand. And again, to recapitulate what he said was, hey, media is not only about information, it's all about understanding how the information can be converted to insights, what analysis you can provide more over and above the information you provide. So I believe, yes, that's something that I as an user would be going forward to for media. Thank you. Thanks for this insights. So the next question goes to Mr. Vaibhav. And again, when I saw this comedy fight, I was like, wow, this is beautiful. And coming from a IIT Roorkee background, the question goes to you. Not so many highly educated people became in entertainment industry. I mean, entertainment industry is like something like Shah Rukh Khan or Salman Khan. Ask about the education credentials, not much. So what's the role of education in the entertainment industry? That's the first question. Go ahead.
I can't really point out if there are or aren't too many people who are very highly educated into the entertainment industry. But I know about stand-up comedy, if there are only around 50 stand-up comedians, full-time comedians in India, right now there are 6 IITians that I know. So that's quite a big ratio just from one set of colleges. But on the other hand, about what role education in my own college played, I feel a lot of experiences were gathered. Like, I know one thing, that during my college days, I felt that I was not just growing because I was in a college where there were great teachers and great facilities, but also people who were really adaptive. A friend of mine, he had never touched a keyboard, and he got through IITs, and by the end of 3rd year, we nicknamed him Google Devta.
Wow.
Because he was just one of the fastest people, no matter what it was related to computers. And so that sort of adaptation in a very highly competitive environment, that I think, which comes with all the great institutes, I feel, is really conducive to like just thinking out of the box and adapting to new things. And in my class, there were 23 students, and I did architecture, and right now there are only 4 architects. And there are other people who are doing other things. And they're doing pretty well, I must say. So, I mean, the adaptation is what I guess was one of the biggest things that I took back from college. And it was also because of the people who were there and the whole thinking, and that every time there was a challenge or there was something cliche, like he was saying about the courses in Zohos, the colleges,
MOOCs,
that every
courses.
2 years the courses are like, revised. I remember we were taught about aluminum channels, and then when we went to exhibitions, we saw that those have become obsolete. And this is IIT Roorkee Architecture College, which was rated like number 1.
Number 1, yes.
For for 3 years consecutively by India Today. And I was like, okay, but we're being. So, I mean, I'm not saying that, I mean, this stands out an example for us, but every time something came which was not acceptable to us, I think everyone found a good way, and a very healthy way, they found a way to come around it and then educate themselves about it. We were very aware of it. So
Right.
that I think was a big help from an institute like that, I guess.
So education is about adaptation. That's what you meant to say. It's more about
It was more about how to learn rather than what to learn for me.
right,
I
unlearn,
think it
learn,
taught
learn,
me-
unlearn. That's continuous process.
Yeah, that's why, like, I guess a lot of companies, when they come to my first job was in a oil field engineering company. I was a cementing engineer, which had no relation to architecture. I think a lot of these companies, I asked them also, why are you hiring an architect? I asked that in my interview, and that person said that we're basically interested in hardware. I know the software that I'm going to install in you, but we want the hardware which is capable of evolving at a steep learning curve. That's all they wanted, and they were kind of getting it. I'm not subscribing to the entire philosophy, but then it met the purpose of what they wanted, I guess.
Makes sense. Totally understand. So, thanks. So this third question goes to Mr. Colonel Praveer Sen Gupta. Thanks for being here, sir. And I see that you have been given an exceptional leadership award by President. So now, in early 80s, 90s, when I was like preparing for IITs and other colleges, NDA was one of the things that we must go for. So now in like early 2011, 12, 13, 15, how do you see your military career as being most sought after or not so sought after? What do you think, what's going on in the civil society, military as a career or as an education path?
Hello. Yeah, Rakesh, your question says, is military or armed forces a career choice for the youth?
For the current youth, yes.
For the current youth.
In our time,
I
it
will
was yes.
I'll phrase it that way. Short answer will be no. But the short and long of it is, there are people who are excited to join the armed forces and they are looking for career options there. However, the looker outside is so glamorous, which attracts most of them there. And therefore, even today, when the parents see as their source of revenue, income, the first thing they say, and the easiest and the shortest way is, beta engineering kar lo. You become an engineer, it could be a Tom, Dick and Harry, any college, just be an engineer, you'll get a job. And that's the shortest way to earning a source of income, getting a source of income. And therefore, the mushrooming of the colleges. Some of those students who are from those colleges, when you interact, like they said, Zoho University said, Dandapani mentioned, they have no idea whether they are industry ready or not. And therefore, did you know, is one of the videos I show these students, and I tell them, they have no idea what is the kind of industry they are joining. And I used to hire for Satyam. And I realized what they are being taught, they are totally unaware of where they are headed for. And first year, therefore, they get this huge shock when they enter the industry. Second, we ourselves in the armed forces are to blame in the sense we are so segmentized. We work in a silo and we don't interact with the civilian population, and therefore you will have a Col Sen Gupta rather than a Colonel Sen Gupta because people don't know about the army or the defense forces. Due respect. Right. It's not their fault because the interaction has been so less, and therefore they don't know what is it. And all those who belong to this part of this country, Amar to ektai chele, so bloody. What? You think the number of people who die in accidents in Calcutta is much more than the number of people who die in the entire year in the uniform. Yet they are unaware of this. And therefore sometimes media, Anirban sir, I think they have lost their conscience. And I'm not saying the initiative that you were mentioning about Z doing this study, so apt. Otherwise the incident, most of it, each one, you can take a head count, will be aware of the incident that happened in Guwahati when that journalist, rather than helping that woman, was filming it so that he gets TRPs. That crushed each one of us sitting here. And then there is the point where I tell the youth, where I synced up with Srijan regarding why is the youth, therefore, I say, shut your eye now and ask yourself a question. If you're a woman, if you're a girl, if you're not safe walking in the street now, think of it 5 years down the line, what will happen? Do you think your daughter, your wife, will be safe enough to walk in this society? And therefore, if you're not doing anything now, what will happen 5 years down the line? We have to be the change agents. We have to raise our voice.
Right. So, again, I mean, I heard that, yes, that's not the career choice right now among the youth. So what our armed forces, be it naval or air force or army, what they're going to do about it, what they're doing right now, that will change the mindset of the civil society, that will say, hey, you know what, armed forces is the first prime career for me. What are they doing right now?
They are taking a number of steps. I won't say each of them or all of them are working, but the proliferation of this message, information is happening. West Bengal somehow is not the catchment area for the armed forces. Therefore, we don't have a Bengal regiment. But the areas where we hire maximum, like Punjab or Maharashtra or let's say Haryana, a lot of youth there continue to seek armed forces as the first choice of employment. And therefore, bulk of our cadre is from these areas. Saying that, number of steps are being taken. Some are not working though.
Sure. And see, myself, I'm from a not pure military background, but a paramilitary. I joined naval engineering, merchant navy in Kolkata only. So I say, hey, you know what, Bihar is my birthplace, but West Bengal is my Karm Bhumi, where I did my engineering. And so there's a distinct gap between when you go to armed forces and come and join the society. There's always a culture misfit. I don't know why it happens. Might be we are so insulated, being in the whole barrack and our cadet kind of philosophy. So the question goes to you. Now you have successfully transitioned from military to civil society. How was it a challenge for you? That's the first question. If not, if yes or no, either way, what are the key steps you did to transform yourself from military to civil society?
A lot of people have asked me this question. I'll be very upfront. And then my answer always has been, you can't compare an apple with an orange or some other fruit or some vegetable. Both are totally different. 1. 2, every organization, be it the CV Street civil organizations or the army, armed forces, they have their pros, they have their cons. There were good things in the army, there were bad things in the army. Similarly, what are outside, you'll see a good things happening, bad things happening. You can't compare both of them. They're totally different life, totally different lifestyle. Regarding the challenge of adapting, and therefore after I took VRS, PMR, I went to IIM Bangalore for my executive course, 6 months residential. The first thing that Professor Vaidyanathan told us was, anyone from Bangalore here would know that. He says, forget your uniform, keep it in your rooms. Learn, unlearn, relearn. These are the 3 things you should take from here. Forget that you were a colonel in the army, no more, move ahead. And that was a lesson that adaptation, like Weber was mentioning, if you can't adapt, you're dead.
Yeah. So with this note, I'll open the house to all our delegates, our members. Please go ahead and ask the questions to all of us esteemed panelists. So we have 5 more minutes, I believe. Any questions? So this goes to Mr. Sanjay Nagi, Marketix, CEO Marketix. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't want to do press bashing, but I think basically what they already spoke about, too much of concern on the TRP. So it becomes a pressure on one channel. When another channel doesn't change, then the second channel has to, force to. So one channel puts up on prime time show with 8 people on panel, including union ministers, then the other channel is also forced to. My question is, can can the editors or the chief or the owners of these companies not sit together and decide certain journalistic norms which they can articulate together and say, we will follow this? And if they do that, I have a hypothesis that we will have much more positivity in society than what we have right now. Because if you have a rape going on, the TRPs will cover 100 hours on rape, and somebody did some great work on some social service, you will not cover for 1 minute. So if these 10 editors get together and make a journalistic norm, do you see this is possible? Can you take charge of this or something like that?
Look, there are really unwritten rules in our profession where we follow certain codified code of conduct. But as you said, when it comes to implementation, when it, we don't mention the name of the rape victim, or we usually blur the faces of, these are certain things we follow. But at the end of the day, it's a difficult question. If you ask me what are the challenges of the media right now, your question is our challenge. So how do we beat the TRP? Because the TRP pays our salaries. If you don't, because you must know that this TRP thing, every week the TRP list is published. And every week the editor is hauled up by the higher management for not being up to the mark. So what do I do? But do I instigate violence? But do I instigate incidents, or do I show things which a family cannot watch? One of the things of our journey, of our Zee Media journey, that we have, media so long had been a very 35 plus male bastion. Students don't watch Bengali media. Women don't watch Bengali media. So our aim, sir, is in the next few years, through our journey, we have to create, our top management, our chairman has told us that we have to create programs. These programs, entire family should be able to watch. So in the next few months, I have been asked to make programs for the students. I have already introduced a program called Jankari, as I said.
Yeah.
Where, it is aired, telecast at 6:30 every evening. It's a short bulletin where I am giving all kinds, and the introduction says that khun noy, dhorshon noy, rajani noy, politics noy. Emon khobor apnader debo, jeta apnar jibone kaje lagbe. So this is how we are trying to transform, sir. I mean, I'm an incurable optimist, but I think things will change.
Thank you. That was very insightful. So I think Mr. Srijan asked the question first. Wait, check. Oh, you got it covered. Okay. So this question, why don't you introduce yourself first?
My name is KKK Chand. I'm coming from Vizag. I'm a marine engineer.
Just like me.
Yes. Well, I just want to ask you one thing. First is that, to the media. 26/11 was a time when there was terrorist attack in Mumbai, where our media is so proactive that every bit of the thing is being covered by the media, which made even the terrorists to be prepared to, be countering that, and then they were knowing everything, which is too much of media. I feel the punch is much. First thing. The second one is, today these TV channels, if you see, they run round the clock 24 hours. And many of the channels, including whether you call them international channels like CNN, BBC and all, they repeat the same thing several times, and it is sick of, watching the channels. Why can't they keep hours, reducing from 24 hours like how it was in the earlier days, bringing down to certain timing and keep it so that it doesn't become too excessive for the people? And as how Mr. Sanjay had said, Mr. Sanjay Negi, that the negative things are much more than the positive things on the channels. These are the 3 points of my concern. Thank you.
Thank you for your question. Let me assure you, sir, that after the 2611 experience, just as he suggested, all the editors have sat together with the government. We've had detailed meeting with the government, and now the latest decision is when these kinds of incidents happen, when some terrorist attack is going on, some army or security forces operations are going on, we will not telecast it. We will do a deferred live. If we have to do there's a thing called deferred live. So last time, what the point of concern as you and me, it was that the thing was shown live and people holed up inside the building, they saw the TV, or people sitting in the other country, they got to know about the operation and they informed their mates there. So this is not going to happen now on. So that has been decided, as all the editors, we have decided that. And second question is repetition. That's also a thought it's subject of introspection. Because in a television, you really don't, except for some shows like, you want to watch Arnab Goswami, you really, at 9 o'clock you're ready for the show. But it's almost like a snack bar. Television, news television. People casually just open it, switch it on. It's unlike a television serial that the entire family or the women folk, they switch on for a particular time, for a particular show. So 24-hour news, the challenge is, so I have to say telecast something at 4. So I cannot deprive the person who is switching off at 5:43. So people who are watching the show for say a couple of hours will I can admit it without hesitation, they are bored to death because of the repetition. Yeah, I know. This is our challenge. So what we are now trying to do is say we show one thing and we have to develop to that when we repeat that thing, we have to do something different. That's our challenge. We just can't repeat that 1 o'clock news. When we repeat it at the 2 o'clock news, we have to do it with some kind of addition, with some kind of an additional information, and that's it. So this is our process of evolvement.
And just one applause to Mr. Arinmar for the first point, right? That now you have deferred live telecast. Thank you so much for taking this care. So, please.
So you mentioned earlier that there are a lot of children and women folk who stopped watching the TV in general. Why is that so? Like, what was missing out that you lost a certain segment of the society just because of that? What was missing?
You're absolutely correct. That is what we on behalf of Z are trying to, evolve, is that people don't watch us. A large section of society, they do not watch us. So we are now trying to see our world through 6 prisms. One is the student, one is the women folk, another is a farmer. They don't watch us because we don't say anything about the farmer. Because at least in Bengal, there are hundreds and thousands and lakhs of farmers who are watching on television. Nothing for them, nothing for the kids, nothing for the students. So why would they watch them? We are really, I think, faultily, we are concentrating too much on politics, too much on incident, and too much of, that circus called talk shows.
Thank you. I think the 5 minutes are over. So thank you so much, Colonel Praveer. Thanks so much. Thank you, Praveer, sir.